Anti-Afro Svengalis. Yes, we are going to talk about this federal lawsuit. This might be in two parts. I'm not sure at this point. However, I'm reminding everybody, three names will be drawn late afternoon, early evening, Sunday for the support appreciation. The instructions are on the screen, very simple. You do not have to disclose if your name is drawn. I will not disclose unless you elect that option. Very important. This, or these rather, drawings are only for people who participate or come here or are supporters. Doesn't mean you got to comment it every day, but we know that you're here. So when you respond, make sure your screen name is clear if it's not clear on the email. If you send over an email and I don't recognize the email, how am I going to know if you're participating? Make sure your screen name is included. So let's get to this federal lawsuit. What about that federal lawsuit? Let James Brown tell it. This is what they try to do to you. Just when they think they can drag you down, or just to think they could drag you down, they are the ones engaging in all of this outrageous behavior, and then they sue you. They try, they try and try and try to find something to drag you down, and it doesn't work because there is nothing. So I'm going to explain to you what's going on. I am being sued. As I stated, so are you, and you in federal court. And I was waiting for the judge to hand down some decisions in this case. And we do have. Actually, we had one decision I told you about, the preliminary injunction, aka restraining order. And this is federal court. The judge agreed to take additional information in support of that injunction / restraining order because the initial one was denied. The person wanted a restraining order in place when the lawsuit was filed. The judge denied it. The plaintiff submitted more documentation for another reconsideration to have it post filing, and the judge denied that restraining order. And I'm going to read to you the decision. Before I do that, I have a little update for you. This individual, I guess, realizes there is nowhere this person can go with me in this so-called lawsuit. There is zero support for any of the allegations. As a matter of fact, to the contrary, everything that the person stated, which is basically two things. Let me tell you what they are, because this is all, it's in the lawsuit. So I'm not telling you anything outside of the lawsuit. I might drop one tidbit on you. One of the things this person has tried to assert, or is asserting, is that I lied when I talked about an incident. This incident actually involves Lenon and his family, something that this individual did to Lenon and his family. I came onto YouTube. I didn't give Lenon's name. I didn't give details of the incident. The details of the incident are not in the lawsuit, so I'm just telling you, it happened. So this person claimed that I slandered this individual when I talked about the incident, and I didn't even give details of the incident. This person took it and ran, and saying I was being slanderous. Not slander, it happened. There is monumental evidence from multiple sources that it happened, documentation of the wazoo that it happened. So this person tried to say that I was slandering the individual for saying that. Well, guess who put up money for an attorney to take care of this crap, which will in all likelihood prevent Lenon Honor from having to testify in federal court, which would be a subpoena he couldn't ignore. Gerald came on last Friday, a week ago Friday, talking about how Lenon completely ignored investigators' efforts to get information, additional information. Well, this would be a process he wouldn't be able to avert. Thankfully, though, I'm saying for me, because this is about me, I'm focusing on me, Afro Svengalis. Okay, this is my money that's paying for this. I'm going to talk to you about specifically how this lawsuit relates to me. There, of course, will be some other commentary, but I'm going to explain why. But I absolutely had to make that statement about who's putting the money down to deal with this mess. That's the situation. And I can't help but wonder if Lenon had cooperated, where we all would be right now. There would have been a halt to the videos that were being posted about Lenon and his family, at least from two particular individuals. And the court could have associated that with all of the individuals that were related to these two people. That would have been an outcome. But the outcome now is me putting up several $1,000s for an attorney to deal with this crap. Do you see what I mean? So do you get why Gerald was so agitated? It's an issue about morality, not about freaking super chats. This is life. You have to take on a situation if you want it resolved. You just can't ignore things. When you ignore things, other things fester. It pops up in other areas. And I'm not just talking about my bank account. If it just came down to money, what the hell? It's never just about money, people. You're not going to get anywhere with that, because what it happened, it happened. Number two, the person had stated in that lawsuit, this is the federal lawsuit, I'm not posting that garbage. It was like something like 40 something pages, and there was only like two little sections related to me. And I'll tell you why I'm not posting it, because what I'm going to read you, the restraining order denial, pretty much covers that. So I'm not putting up something that has all of those individuals' names in it that are contraband on this channel. So I have to redact everything. I'm not doing that. So basically, the second thing the person's trying to say is, or did say, is I lied when I told all of you that the individual accused me of being part of a white supremacist group, whether it's Aryan Nation, the KKK, or whoever. It was a white national racist group. As a white woman, I'm part of this white racist group trying to destabilize black power groups or whatever. The person stated this, which is false. This person made a false statement. I reported that to all of you, that this person was saying this about me. I had contact with law enforcement about this issue. They know my race. The person said it. The person stated it publicly. And on the lawsuit is trying to say I lied, that they never said that. But guess what? I don't care how many live streams were taken down. We have the live stream very specifically with this person making this statement. And that was given to the judge. So there's audio that the person said I was white and I was part of a white, whether it's white supremacy, white Aryan, whatever it is, and told the police that. The person said, the police were told, the person making this statement is on tape making this statement. And we have that live stream. So there's two things right there about me that this lawsuit is hanging on that have already been debunked. The person said, I'm white. The person said I was part of a white supremacist Aryan nation, whatever group it was. And in the lawsuit, the person's trying to say, I know that I'm black, me, AAF, bullshit. The person said I was white. And if you want to hear the live stream, send me an email. I'll be happy to send you it. I have it. TCTV, it's your live stream. Your live stream. You don't want to be involved with the white man. Well, you're all involved with the white man because of your live streams. We have almost every single one. And on that live stream, this person made the statement that me, Afro Svengalis, is a white woman trying to destabilize black groups. So go to hell trying to sit up here and say, I'm causing problems for anybody. It is you that led these nasty ass attack panels. You, Dempsey Spears, and whoever else, with those two disgusting people. You led that. It doesn't matter that your live streams were taken down. Dempsey, it doesn't matter that your live streams were taken down. And the live stream that was taken down involved the situation related to Lenon and his family that this person is trying to claim never happened. It happened. The fact that your live stream was taken down is irrelevant. And let me say something else before I go on. I have that live stream. So you submit that to court. Court can go to YouTube and get the actual original version because I could have doctored it. I offered it for proof. I don't know whether or not the court went and got it, but they have that live stream where those statements were made. So you don't have anywhere else to go with me. Now be very clear. I'm talking about me in this lawsuit. I am not in any way related to anybody else's name that's mentioned. I'm just mentioning that situation for the purposes of this discussion. And I did mention TCTV because he's in the lawsuit as well. I have no idea what the heck went on with those individuals. It has nothing to do with me. But as we know, people always try to put me in shit all the time. That's fine. That's dandy. I put my money down for a lawyer and I'm going to take care of this. That's what you do. You don't run and hide and avoid a situation. If someone has your service address, they have your service address. Serve it. Serve the lawsuit on the individual. Make it a legal service. And you should get your ass into court and defend yourself. Let me continue with this restraining order that was denied. Now, I don't like to keep saying all the time, email me, I'll send it to you. I'm going to read the restraining order, the decision, but the live stream, I am going to ask you to email me and I'll send it. I'm not going to play that here. The court has it, and that's that. So let me read. So it says, I'm sorry to tell you this person's name is not being mentioned here. This person, oh my goodness, people, has sent me so many emails. So many emails over the last how many years? 3, 4 years. I never responded to this individual until maybe 6 months ago, reminding the individual what the person did to Lenon and his family. You remember what you did, dot, 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 because she had all these other people on the email, like the police and stuff. Yeah, tell them about this. If you want to send me an email, make sure you tell them what you did to Lenon and his family. Quit emailing me. I just went off on her. And I think another time I told her to stop emailing me, and then I put her in spam. But I never even had a conversation with this person. And this person sending not only me, but anti-fraud warriors, we never responded to this individual. Let me tell you what else this person did. Sent emails to my contractors, and I believe called. Yeah, I think there was a phone conversation. But let me say this. These people out here screaming about calling jobs. Calling jobs and lying is one thing. Calling jobs and telling the truth is something else. If you know someone is dangerous, there was a person on the internet that is a peace officer, like that Glorion creature, was sending messages to a minor child, soliciting sex. Someone saw his name, recognized his handle rather, and reported him. They called the job and reported him. So you're trying to tell me don't call someone's job? People are being ridiculous. I am being facetious. Calling a job because there is a legitimate concern is one thing. Calling a job to try to control people and shut them up with lies is something else. So this is what this person stated. This is a person that's suing me in federal court. Called the contractor and stated that I was dating Umar Johnson, someone I never even spoke to, have never even called, had no communication or any contact with. Told the contractor that I slept with Umar Johnson or dated Umar Johnson. He dumped me. I've lost my mind, and now I'm going after every single female that Umar Johnson talks to. And there was another person, I'm going to give you this name, who people suspected was fake because this person never appeared. And all of a sudden, this person is gone. India, I have a screenshot of one of these messages. Somebody named India, India or India, said that I was harassing this person. It sounds like the Larry Reid case, these non-existent victims, right? Who never came forward, avatars, right? I was also harassing that person. And there was another person that she said I don't even know these people. And I believe, I'm trying to remember that email. I can't remember off the top of my head. But she was making all these wild accusations, things that are totally and completely false, people. And has the nerve to sue me in federal court. I just ignored her. So this is the kind of situation we are dealing with. I don't even think it's going to get that far, but the nerve of people to make up lies. Now, how could a person even say something like this? A person can say that I slept with and dated Umar Johnson? You are lying. You have no such information that I had anything ever to do with Umar Johnson other than to report him because he's perping as a therapist. Do you see what I mean? The difference between, but nothing happened. Why, how would something happen to me? There's absolutely nothing that was reported that's actionable. Compare to what these people are doing. She sat on these attack panels. And like I stated, I don't know and I don't care what happened. They turned on each other. They turned on each other, and you're trying to bring me into this bullshit. I have nothing to do with it. I never sat on these panels. I never spoke to any of those people. I called the FBI to get the threats to stop. And she's trying to throw me in because I ignored her, I guess. I don't know. But people, calling a job and telling lies on people is something totally different. Slandering somebody, making up shit that never happened because you're frustrated. I won't talk to you, or you can't shut me up. You can't take away my free speech rights. I can say whatever the hell I want, as long as I'm not threatening anybody. Let me continue. That name is not going to be here at all. You will get the name if you get the live stream. And so here it goes. This person versus, this is a contraband name, right? So I'm blacking it out. It says before the court is plaintiff blacked out. I'm not even giving the person's initials. Motion for preliminary injunction for the following reasons. This motion is denied. What judge in his or her right mind, and this is a woman, by the way, and they grant some bullshit like this? Sorry to tell you that from the start. It was always bullshit. So it's background. Plaintiff filed this suit against, and these are contrabanded names, you know them very well, defendants, collectively defendants, and that includes me because I'm one of the defendants, and tons of other people, alleging that each had engaged in some degree of stalking, or in stalking rather, harassment. Generally, plaintiff claims that defendants are individuals using online platforms like YouTube to engage in cyber and online harassment. That began around October 2020. However, let me tell you this. This person cited the Violence Against Women Act. And that act expired in 2019 and Congress did not renew it. So the person is citing an act that expired before these incidents occurred, or alleged incidents. I'm going to say this quickly because this is kind of background. This talks about service, how people are served, and it's kind of convoluted and complex. What the judges ended up saying is that her decision is based on the people who were actually served. So she is not even going to talk about the technicalities of whether or not people were properly served. The information that is relevant mainly applies to the people who were not served. So the judge is only going to address the individuals who were served. And there are 4 of us. I am one of those individuals. I'm going to stick to mentioning only my name. I'm not mentioning anyone else's name. There are 3 other individuals. Okay. An applicant for preliminary injunctive relief must show, 1, a substantial likelihood that he will prevail on the merits. 2, a substantial threat that will cause irreparable harm if the injunction is not granted. 3, his threatened injury outweighs the threatened harm to a party whom he seeks to enjoin. 4, granting the preliminary injunction will not disservice the public interest. A preliminary injunction is an extraordinary remedy. Accordingly, a preliminary injunction should only be granted when the party seeking it has clearly carried the burden of persuasion on all 4 requirements. In the end, a preliminary injunction is treated as an exception rather than a rule. Okay? And so the judge mentions something else about the service process and reemphasizes that only those served are going to be addressed. Okay? Here, the formal service of process was made upon 4 defendants, and I'm one of them, so I'll say Stewart. Plaintiff attempted to notify the remaining defendants by email. The court finds that emails sent to addresses that may or may not be affiliated with the named defendants failed to give sufficient opportunity to be heard and present evidence. Thus, plaintiff has not provided proper notice under Rule 65A. Okay? So here, the judge is going to talk about the burden of proof with respect to 4 of us who answered, and I'm one of them. Plaintiff fails to carry her burden as to each of these defendants. More specifically, plaintiff's allegations do not show She will suffer irreparable harm at the hands of Stewart and the three others, right? In the event an injunction is not granted. As to blank and blank, which is not me, there are no allegations of any threats of physical harm. Blank is alleged to have sent an intimidating cease and desist letter to plaintiff and to have accused plaintiff of unlawful racist actions directed at black men. Blank is alleged to have acted in concert with other defendants in inciting violence against plaintiff. But plaintiff fails to provide any factual detail to support this assertion. Blank and blank's actions may have been tortuous, but they do not show impending irreparable harm in the absence of an injunction. Similarly, as to Stewart, which is me, there is no threat of physical harm. I don't threaten people with physical harm. You're never going to see ever. I'm stopping to say that. Any situation where I threaten somebody with physical harm, you are only going to hear me self-defense. You're never going to ever see this. So this was never going to work. Sorry I had to say that. Only an allegation that her broadcast about plaintiff falsifying police reports and bringing false charges put plaintiff at risk of injury from listeners who may be motivated to violently retaliate against her. While these allegations are no doubt disturbing, the court cannot enjoin an audience. Further, without some evidence to support plaintiff's fear of retaliation from listeners, this court's hands are tied. And I didn't lie. I said nothing about any charges. See, people just lie and they put shit in court papers. No charges. That she contacted the police. And I didn't say anything about any charges. See the lying is just so, oh my God. Finally, as to so-and-so, who is not me, the court does take note of her violent language. You hear that, person? Yeah, your violent language is on notice with this court. The violent language directed at plaintiff. During internet broadcast, this person allegedly threatened to pull up on plaintiff and said she would beat plaintiff's ass and slap her. While no doubt disturbing, the fact that these threats appeared only in cyberspace with no evidence of any intent to follow through counsels the court to proceed cautiously. Additionally, plaintiff testified that lives in Delaware. Plaintiff now lives in Louisiana. Thus, to whatever extent so-and-so, one or two statements might reflect an imminent threat of physical harm to plaintiff, that threat is now more than 1,000 miles away. Now let me stop, because when I had my situation, law enforcement came here, sat down and talked to me and were relaying what the FBI had found, and they provided the assurance, the reassurance that they had no evidence that anyone tried to come here to do anything to me. They obviously have been looking because there had been many reports put in before. So that was a great relief. That does not give you the assurances that you shouldn't take precautions, but they did look into whether or not anybody tried to get to me physically, and they determined there was no evidence of that at that time. And to make sure, I contacted local law enforcement. I have a contact name, a detective. Contact this individual immediately if there's any change. If you hear anything online from this individual threatening you, I'm to contact them immediately. And they further told me anyone showing up confronting you from YouTube is considered a critical emergency based on what had been going on. So I have a right to defend myself if I'm put in that position. Obviously, if I have a chance to call law enforcement, I'm going to do that. I'm certainly not going to open up the door and invite the person to come in if they show up at my doorstep or confront me. But absolutely, distance makes a difference. Okay, then it says plaintiff's explication of the case LaSalle versus Daniels further supports the court's conclusion. The person cited a court case in support of this injunction, and that had significant detail, making a comparison. There was very obvious differences. The person had engaged the individual directly. They were in the same town. There were witnesses. All the witnesses are not necessarily required. There was no comparison. So what I'm going to do now, I have something else I need to follow up with you all on regarding this federal lawsuit and some related issues. I'm going to do that on a part 2. Hopefully you had your questions answered in this respect. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.